All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us Monday morning. There we go.
Edition of our real estate
Yeah,
backstory.
yep. Yeah, every week we do the real estate backstory. You can find it at realestatebackstory.com. That's kind of where we cover all the comings and goings about the real estate world, kind of trying to expose the soft underbelly of real estate here. So we're glad that you're joining us. Thank you very much. And we're just going to kind of jump right in this morning. We want to start off with, it's starting to cool off a little bit. We got football going on, all that kind of
Apples,
stuff. Yeah,
Fest, Oktoberfest.
But for real estate, this really is kind of fall fever. And we're going to be talking about a lot of things dealing with fall today. But the first thing is that the market it's shifting, and we're kind of excited about seeing some of the things that are happening right now because, especially for our buyers right now, once again, look, we might actually be able to have offers that have, I don't know, a home inspection and appraisal contingencies
and
what you might be able to you might be able to get something at list price right now. So, we are seeing the market shifting, and we're being a little bit tongue in cheek right now. But we wanted to kind of show some of the information that's kind of going on out there, and show you some of the numbers and that kind of stuff. But first, we kind of wanted to kind of walk everybody through it. And where I want to start with is that, first of all, we're not saying that the market is soft. Okay. We're just saying that it's not as nuts. We're seeing we're heading into a more balanced seller's market. I think would probably be the best way to kind of.
And no, we're not in a bubble. We're not in a bubble. So don't think we are.
Yeah, that's not what it is, but the time of really fierce competition, and I mean, there's still a lot of demand for housing. And again, I'm trying to stress that we're not looking at things kind of slacking off or being slower or any of that kind of stuff. But what we are looking at is that inventory levels are increasing, interest rates are increasing. And so with more inventory coming on the market and things like that, we're looking at, and we're going to show you some of the forecasts for housing moving forward kind of thing. And a lot of folks are like, hey, our home price is going to fall. We don't see home prices falling.
No.
We don't see a decline coming. We do see a reduction in the rate of growth. We're kind of looking at about 5%.
When you say rate of growth, meaning the price value.
Well, I mean, for the last 12 months, we've been running at about 15% here in Georgia, 14.7%. And so we were increasing almost 3% a quarter right there, 1% a month in property value appreciation. And so are we looking at it going the other way? No, we're not. Are we looking at much more modest increases, something in the 5% range for the year? Yeah, that's something that we're really kind of expecting to start seeing. But whenever there's a shift in the market, everyone loses their blooming minds. They all kind of go like, oh, something's different. Oh no, this can't be, this means that the sky is falling kind of thing.
It's kind of like when buyer at one point, when it's buyer's market and buyer was demanding a lot of things. And so when it shifted to a seller's market and the seller was able to demand a lot of things. So that's where we are, and it's changing a little bit, but it's not enough to where it's an issue right now. And no, we're definitely not in a bubble.
Yep. So as far as why is this? So one thing is that we do have inventory levels that are increasing. We'll show you some slides on that here in a minute. In addition, though, rising mortgage rates, as much as I'm not a fan, they are going to keep prices under control.
Correct. Because your buyer's buying power is basically diminished when your interest rate is up. So what that means is that they can buy a higher value home versus when the interest rate was low. Right.
So, overall, understand that right now, October is really good time for buyers, So
that's a good thing.
And so we kind of wanted to kind of look at what's going on with October, November, December for our buyers. So we kind of want to jump into that. And so first of all, October is probably one of the best opportunities historically for buyers. It's it has one of the lowest percentage over actual value models that we have out there. As a matter of fact, if you look at kind of what like this is how single family homes goes
Mhm.
year to year. And so you can see that in October, the premium, the amount over average value is around 3% year to year. And
this is based
yeah,
on 2013 to 2020 sales,
this last 7
single-family
years,
homes.
right?
So this is an average. This is not what the indication will occur in today's market
Right,
is.
but this just says that the year over year for the last 7 years, November tends to, October, November, December tend to be 3 of the months that have some of the least amount of price growth year over year that we see. And therefore, if you're a buyer and you can still lock in really good rates, look, they drop back down to 2.99 this week, things like that. It is really, really, now's a good time to be a buyer. And we have had so many folks sitting on the fence. We've had folks that went through the summer buying frenzy and lost
get outbid every time.
and then
There's
got
a lot of discontentment,
depressed,
and discouraged. So we just want you to know that, keep your buyers engaged and let them know that, the season's turning, and hopefully we'll get them some place to.
Well, there's going to be more, but we're looking at interest rates remaining historically low. Now, this is a projection for 2020, somewhere being in the low threes, and I kind of see us kind of going to that. We'll talk a little bit more about mortgage rates here in just a minute when we get into that part. But you can also see that the number of listings that we have, while historically way down from like 2016, 2017,
Right.
you can see even this year what's happening with our inventory levels. Our inventory levels are finally on a positive slope. So we're up to 640,000 active listings, and that's a really good sign for our buyers, also for the health of the market. We don't need to keep the when inventory is crazy low, that's going to continue to drive pricing.
And this, if you look at the graph, this is where you see back in February, March, where it is truly a seller high demand market because inventory was extremely low.
Bonkers, right?
Right.
So new construction also, if you look at what's kind of going on with new construction, you can see where, back at 2005, how it was really, really rolling right then. By the way, that 2004 to 2006 time, that's the only time when we hit the demand for new construction. You can see this valley from like down around 2010 where we have not had enough, we have not built enough homes to meet demand. That's why we're in the position that we are right now. And if you zoom in on, I'm sorry,
it's okay. No.
But if you zoom in on this data, you'll even see that our inventory levels have actually been dropping this year, mainly due to supply issues, labor issues, things like that have just made it really tricky. So I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, but if you look at those number and demands are generated by age. So baby boomers, millennials, and stuff like that. So because millennials, one of your largest segment in buying, and Gen X is right after them. And the funny thing about Gen X is that they're actually buying at a much younger age than millennials. So they're all merging in at almost simultaneously.
They really are. So, well, because, a lot of our boomers are looking at downsizing at the same time as a lot of our millennials are moving into the first time buyer age. So, our days on market continue to be
low, historically low.
Yeah. I mean, as a nation, we're running around 39 days on market. Here in the Atlanta market, we're running much closer to 20 now.
Yeah.
We had been in the teens. So, but still overall, it really is kind of flying off the market. I mean, homes are moving. There's a lot of demand for housing out there.
And if your home's not moving, I can tell you 9 out of 10, you're just priced way too high for the condition, location of the property.
And so this graph here shows where pricing has gone. And so when we saw the same dip that we did earlier, when you could see here when days on market continue to decline, and here when you see
the home builder,
the builders, and you can see kind of what's happened with our prices here this year. We are starting to see a more moderating price value during the spring and summer markets when it was so high. We are starting to come back down into the range of more reasonableness. Now, this is our estimated home price performance going on through 2021, 22, 23, 24. And so, most of the talking heads out there, we just kind of went out and put together what a lot of the economists are saying, where we're going to end up with the year. And the average is we're going to end up right around 12%. I think here in Georgia, we'll still be close to that 14-15% year,
Yes.
for the annualized year. They're looking at 2022 being 5.5%. I think that's a pretty accurate bet. And then going in with much moderate increases of 3.9, 3.5, 3.5. And honestly, historically, if you look at, like over the last 75 years, property value appreciations runs in that 3 to 5% range. Guess what? We're moving into a normal market. I mean, the predictions are
As
without
far as
some kind
the
of
property
weird,
value.
as far as property
Not
value.
necessarily inventory. So don't confuse the two.
Well, inventory is going to be with us for a long time.
Mhm.
Inventory issues will be with us for quite a while. We have a shortage of over 5 million houses right now.
Because at this point, your home are priced at what we feel like the top tiers, and that, unless inflation or there's a surge of increased pay, but with surge of increased pay is also surge of expenses. So
Yeah.
don't think because you're getting paid more that there's no increase on expense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if most of you probably have felt the grocery price has gone up. The fuel price, for example, has gone up tremendously. So,
and all that inflation issues are leading to part of the issues, or not issues, part of what's going to be driving our mortgage rates, because those will drive the 10-year treasury up. It's going to change the Fed buying policy on 10-year treasury, on the 10-year treasury, that kind of thing. So, but moving forward, we are looking at a much more quote unquote normal market when it comes to home price appreciation year over year. But no matter what, it's going to be tricky to forecast.
It is. And just remember, every geographic location is slightly different. And based on what we're telling you is pretty much the average.
Yeah.
But Atlanta being one of the hottest property areas, so we're expecting to have a slight more increase than everybody else.
All right. So just a moment ago, we said, home sales are still going to be tricky to increase. On this, what I want you to see here. So in the blue line, that's 2019, pre-COVID. And you can see that even back then, it was a good market for us. Okay. Housing was very steady. It was a good market. And you can kind of see that last year, couldn't figure, I mean, one extreme to the other, right? So we went through this massive dip in spring, and then all of a sudden things took off, and then we just blew past 2019. And then if you look at what happened in the fall and in the winter last year, well, it just went absolutely nuts. And so now you can still see that we are trending, easily over 2019, and we're starting to come in slightly over 2020. Now, here in the next couple of months, though, you're going to see where we drop under last year. And this is going to be much more normal type of business. We do think that this year, our fall and our winter are still going to be stronger than historically norms kind of thing. But that being said, we don't see it being to the same extent as it was last year, coming out of the lockdowns and that kind of stuff. You can see that we're just about to level out with last year right now. And again, all the talking heads, when you see the news, they're all going to talk about housing's under last year. Home sales are dropping. But when you look at it this way, it shouldn't scare you when you hear that, and it shouldn't cause any alarm, but it should prepare us to have those conversations with our clients.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about some buyer insights kind of thing, because there was a study done, and it said, these are for Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. And it says, are you currently looking to buy a home? These are folks who are not owning right now. And 2/3 of them are looking to buy a home. These are renters right now, basically. And so, do you believe that in your lifetime that you'll be able to own a home? Our Gen Z, our millennials, for sure. Only about 80% of our Gen X's think that they're actually going to be able to buy a home, which I found to be really, really startling. How soon do they want to be a homeowner? Between 8 and 6% want to happen in the next 6 months. Around 10 to 20% want to happen in the next year. The biggest segment is going to be in the next 3 years, kind of thing. And
if y'all look at that graph, that's 60%.
Right, but that's huge. But in those demographics, that's why we say, look, housing is not going down. There's a lot of people looking for housing. There's going to be a lot of housing demand moving forward. Our millennial generation is the largest generation, and they're just now reaching first time buyer age kind of thing. And just to be fun, they said, would you rather own your dream home or have a dream job? And more people wanted to have a dream home. Would you rather own a dream home or be able to retire next year? More people want to own a dream home. Do you want to have a dream home or a dream wedding? And sorry, ladies, 82% would much rather have a dream home than a dream wedding.
That's a huge shift, because right now with social media and the way they promote lifestyle, you would think the wedding has to be perfect and everything else.
Yeah.
So that's a huge shift. That's actually interesting.
Well, how about, would you rather have a dream home or find a dream partner? More people want a dream home than they want a dream spouse, which is really kind of jacked up a little bit. And then, would you rather have a home or kids? Sorry, Junior, you're gone. We'd rather have a house. Almost 60% of folks would rather have a house than kids.
Well, I think it's about security and having your four walls first.
Yeah. But they said, what would you be willing to give up for 1 year? And some of these are really, like giving up alcohol, vacations, but like 25% of people will give up sex to own a home. Having sex, 24.9% of people will give up sex for 1 year to become a homeowner. Okay, so this is a little bit tongue-in-cheek for sure, but also when you look at it, is housing important to the American public? Is owning a home important? When you look at 30% of people give up eating pizza and eating chocolate. 28% of people would give up having kids if they could.
Well, because a lot of us are taught, especially I remember when I was younger, that we're always been taught to secure your own four walls first before you start a family, because nobody wants to go and start a family and not having the means to provide for your child. So that I get.
Yeah. So, but since we're talking a lot about homeowners, about buyers right now, we kind of wanted to go into, and so we pulled up home affordability by county, and you can do this too. Like what's happened in the last year for affordability here in the Atlanta area. And so I've got this by county. I'm just going to run through it really quick. So a year ago, if you were in Fulton County, the average mortgage payment was $1,450. Now it's $1,574. So Fulton County, the average mortgage payer is higher by about $117. In Cobb County, it's very similar, $93. Now we're in south of Atlanta kind of thing. So down here, like in Henry County, which is where we live, it's $62 higher. Fayette County, though, jumping right back up to 100. But then if you go over to Rockdale County, their average mortgage payment is only $55 higher.
So when they say average, we don't mean the new construction or anything like that.
That just means the average mortgage for all the mortgages in that county.
So,
but it's just really interesting to look at. It went up in every single county in the state of Georgia, kind of thing. And so I just kind of pulled up everything that's basically in our trade area, and you can see that for a lot of like across the South Atlanta anyway, it's it's $53 in Newton County, $47 right at $50 in Clayton County, $75 in Coweta, 100 in Fayetteville, that kind of stuff. So the average mortgage payment is up between $50 and $100 across most of South Atlanta. Throughout most of Atlanta, it's up between $100 and $110. Is the average mortgage payment. And so, but that's based on where our interest rates are now. All right. And see, interest rates are going to be one of those things that we have got to really start paying pretty close attention
really
to.
Quick, when he said average, that means it does not include the interest and your escrow.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are just flat payment based on the average loan value. So I don't want y'all to think
don't go out and
$710
more. Yeah, $700
no.
you're in a house in Newton County.
No. That just means that it's straight financing port. Now the interesting thing too, you guys have to remember as well, there's a lot more people putting more down payments. So therefore some of the number may be just slightly skewed.
Well, but still, this is a year ago to now. And
correct.
We use this mainly as a reference point, as a baseline. Because one of the things that we've got to be ready to start talking about that we haven't had to have this issue with, and that is right now, one of our biggest risks that we have as far as what's going to slow us down more than anything, probably, it's going to be rising interest rates. Can that start to flatten our market? You better believe that
Absolutely.
it will, kind of thing.
Because for so long, we have been running this less than 3% interest rate for the last almost 2 years now, I want to say.
And my concern is that people get into this idea like
this is what the norm when it's not.
well, I mean, if it's not 3%, it's ridiculous. And if anything, 3% is ridiculous. I don't mean to be, I know it's important, but we also have to look at this in a long-term approach. So what are the projections moving forward for next year? And so, we went out, it was, Keeping Current Matters went and they pulled up and they said, okay, what is the mortgage rate projections for Freddie Mac, for Fannie Mae, for Mortgage Bankers Association, for the National Association of Realtors? And they took them all and then they averaged them out. And so they're looking at fourth quarter of this year coming in at a 3.18. And then first quarter next year, 3.3, then 3.45, and being right at a 3.5 by next year. And we're hopeful to see that sort of moderate growth in mortgage rates, kind of thing. We worry that something that there's, you always have to kind of be prepared for something catastrophic happens, a war or this or that, that kind of thing. That always throws everything out of whack. But generally speaking, we're looking at this moving into 3.5. But we also have to look at what does that really do for the psyche of the average buyer, and what kind of an impact does that even make? I mean, if you look at what the cost of waiting for our buyers is, so if you go out and you can buy a $400,000 house. I mean, just principal and interest here. Again, all we're talking just principal and interest,
because certain municipality
you can't
has
compare taxes,
city and county taxes. So
on principal and interest, you can get, so on a $400,000 house, it's about $1,630. But if you wait and your interest rate goes up to 4%, it's a $1,630
versus 1910, which is almost equivalent to $270.
Well, I guess no. What I'm pointing out is that at $340,000 and 4%, that means that for the same mortgage payment, for that same $1,630 a month, you can buy $340,000. Or if you get it at 2.75, you're going to buy $400,000. That's a $60,000 swing. And so I don't want our buyers to wait. I want us to be out
take advantage
and encouraging our clients to truly take advantage of these interest rates, because we are seeing more inventory going on. We aren't looking at interest rates declining much more, kind of thing. I'm very hopeful that it's a very slow, steady increase, but we also have to look at it kind of long term. Like my parents' first house was like at 13%. And they were like thankful they could get it. I remember
mine was 11.
Yeah, I mean, our first home was 11%, kind of thing, and we were thankful, kind of thing. And so, we're not heading back to those times, kind of thing. But we
just
are
take
looking
advantage
at
what's given now and sit away. That's the bottom line.
So mortgage rates leveled again this week. They went up to 3.01 last week. They're at 2.99 this week. So we're still hovering right at that 3% mark, which is really good. The Fed came in and they are very concerned about the inflation rate. The gauge that they use to measure inflation, it would hit a 30-year high. So inflation is starting to rear its ugly head, which is going to affect mortgage rates. But with this slight uptick in mortgage rates that we talked about last week, mortgage purchase applications are down 2% and 13% from a year ago. Now we knew they were going to be less than a year ago. We already just talked about that, but now should be a really good time to go out and start.
And not only that, refi has fell to the lowest level within the last 3 months. So that's an indication. Well, honestly, too, you can only refi so much. And everybody kind of took advantage when the interest rate was at 2 point something.
Also, New American came out with higher loan limits on some mortgages, so we wanted to share that. So the conforming loan limits have now moved up to $630,000 if you know, through New American kind of thing. So we just wanted to share that on the mortgage side of thing point as well. The home purchase sentiment index has reached one of its largest spreads of late kind of thing. You can see that, you know, this is the home purchase index. And what this means is, you know, Fannie Mae goes out and they say, hey, how many folks think it's a good time to buy? And how many folks think it's a good time to sell? And so you can see that the light blue line to the dark blue line, you know, it's got a pretty wide spread. Not since 2011 have we seen a larger spread in you know, in the good versus the not good. And this data tends to follow a month or two behind kind of thing, what's really going on. So again, I just wanted to kind of show this and say, listen, it really is looking like a really good time. If you have any buyers on the fence, let's get active with them right now.
Absolutely.
Because there is still, you know, they don't understand that we're going into the best 3 months of this year to buy.
They just have to be tenacious and not give up just because they've been rejected once or twice or 10 times for that matters. There's always going to be one win. Okay.
So Atlanta came in as the 26th best metro for raising families. And so they went in and said, you know, based on family income, percentage of families who have at least one child, because nobody likes to not have play dates and things like that, the unemployment rate. Overall, we come in at number 26, which is right
out of what kind of
out of 50.
Okay, out of 50. We're right in the middle.
Pretty much dead set right in the middle. So that works. Now, baby bust, the U.S. fertility rate has continued to plummet. And now this is a really long scale. Okay, this shows from 1909 to 2020. Okay, but you
can see it's not moving up toward the upward location. It's going down.
Right, and it's been exacerbated even more since COVID. The numbers have gone down even farther, kind of thing. And so the only reason I bring that up is we know that there are certain triggers, keys that make people buy and sell property. And so, of course, job transfers and
family sizes,
but going up and down in family size, having babies, that's a biggie right there too. And so, not that this is, earth-shattering news or that kind of stuff, but do know that, this will have a long-term, some sort of lingering effect on housing in the U.S. Nothing that we need to be, oh my gosh, you guys need to go out and make nookie more kind of thing, but just to kind of understand that this will have an impact on housing going forward kind of thing. Wanted to kind of share this, that up in New York, and this is not in Georgia, but it is a very interesting thing that I wanted to kind of share with my real estate folks kind of thing. They had two attorneys that was basically going back and forth in a negotiation about how monies were going to be dispersed and what kind of litigation, and for the first time ever, a judge, so first it was ruled out, but then a judge said that sending an email constituted a binding contract. And now we're not attorneys. I don't claim to be attorneys. Please, you don't claim to be attorneys either. But this does open some very interesting legal precedents for us, because so much of what we do tends to be over email as well. And so, we do have to be very clear on when we're sending email. I don't know that, this is not a Georgia case. We don't have anything that we need to.
And just understand different state practice differently, and their license law may prevail, versus ours.
But, at the end of the day, understand that before sending an email that could be, interpreted as committing to some type of agreement, we have to make sure that we're very clear that this wasn't intended to form any kind of binding agreement and that kind of stuff. A lot of our, a lot of times we have these really long disclosures at the end. For a lot of us in the real estate industry have just these massive disclosures at the end about this is not an offer, that kind of stuff. And so I just kind of wanted to basically just say, hey, be careful with your email because it is kind of,
And sometimes our client will tell us one thing and we send an email to our other agents, say, hey, this is what we cannot do. And then the client turn around, change their mind. So always cover your asset by reiterating.
cover your assets.
That's
There you
right.
go.
Reiterating the discussion you have with the client before
Yeah.
sending out the other email, just so you're not in a position where the finger pointing starts.
All right, we want to wrap up today with and kind of go over 7 mistakes that top producers don't make. What are the 7 biggies that top producers
Mhm.
don't let derail their success? And so I kind of wanted to run through those with you real fast as we go through. So the very first one is, don't focus just on buyers, especially for new agents. We have so many folks that just focus on buyers, and I'll grant you, buyers are easier to get.
Right.
Marketing for buyers is easier than marketing for sellers. But when you market for sellers, guess what else you're marketing for? Buyers at the same time, kind of thing. And so when all you do is market just for buyers, you really are kind of limiting yourself. We've kind of lived by that old adage of list to live,
Right.
list to last, that kind of stuff. And we really do find that really it becomes a mindset kind of thing. So many folks focus on just buyers when really we feel you should be focusing much more on sellers, and the buyers come along for the road. It doesn't mean you don't work on buyers.
No, I'm just saying that you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, this one here.
Yep.
So
Number 2, a lot of agents fail to build a database. Having a database is just such a crucial, important thing that really needs to be out there. And we have more information on that coming up soon, because we've got KB Core that we're just about to roll out here. Number 3 is they don't have a plan. We teach business planning. I teach about every other month when we go through the relaunch series. It really is a very important. If you don't, planning to fail is failing to plan. It really is very, very true. And so when you have, and for a lot of agents, it becomes very non-committal. If I don't say, well, I'm just going to do better, I'm just going to do more. Well, then next year, if you don't do it, it's like, yeah, right. You just really, but if you say, I'm going to do 25 transactions next year, and you don't, then you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, well, I had a goal and I didn't make it, but now I've got to set a plan. So number 4 is that a lot of our folks in the real estate world don't understand the market. They're not watching this. They're not keeping up on current trends, seeing what's going on. Like if I was actively buying and selling, working with clients right now, I'm telling you, I would be on the phone with every buyer I had about getting them into a home right now. That kind of stuff.
Pursuing the listings.
Well, that too. I'm just saying, but like, what's our market right now? Right now, it's a great time. It's probably the best time all year to be a buyer. So mistake number 5 is that we spend a lot of time with unproductive agents. I mean, if you poll the 7 people you spend most time with, and you say, how much money do they make? What kind of careers do they have? What kind of relationships do they have? You're probably going to be a blend of those 7 people. And so if you don't like the folks that you're hanging out with, pick a different group. Okay.
Change your environment.
Yeah, that's it. The 6th biggest mistake is that folks become complacent. They like for example, we just had the Tom Ferry seminar. We're doing Brian Buffini. And
these are important tools, y'all. These are tools that we're providing free of charge, not just for our agent, but for anybody that is interested in learning, because this is our community goodwill to our communities.
Well, but from an agent's point of view, you've got to look at, am I becoming complacent? What is it a pain in the butt to have to come in and attend classes and to be able to learn things?
It's inconvenient. You have to put your makeup on. Well, not forgot. Well, maybe
I don't put makeup on, but
you got to get dressed. You got to get cleaned up. And you got to do your hair. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. I know it's an effort, but I can tell you this: I have worked from home in the past, and I know when I dress to match what I'm doing, I tend to get more things done quickly and efficiently. Whereas if I'm just slouching in a jean and t-shirt, if it's an admin day at home, that's perfectly fine. But if you are out trying to get the business and lead, then you need to dress apart. So,
and then the last thing is to get outside of your comfort zone. If you don't make your heart beat If you don't startle
If
yourself,
it doesn't scare you, okay?
then you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough, kind of thing.
And I will tell you, one of the biggest examples that we learned this weekend was our children went to the wedding and they did not know anyone there just about, other than just the bride and their immediate family. And my kids expressed, this is so awkward. Can we leave? Can we leave? I was like, no, we're
No.
not going to leave. This is a celebration. And so,
We went out and started working the crowd with them.
so we dragged them along.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, did want to kind of touch on, we are still in, help me out, Buffini.
Buffini, yes,
you.
we're still doing that training module.
And we can still catch you up. So please, don't think that is done. We have Buffini in all of our offices right now. It's going to be going on today at 11 o'clock. So please feel free to jump in. We can get you caught back up. It is we love the Buffini program so much. It is a by referral system that really is super important for growing your business.
If you're sitting still and complacent, this is a good workshop for you to come to.
And then we're also putting in place, or let me back up. So last week we had the Tom Ferry Summit. We had it on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of last week. And we had actually, for these uncertain times, we're really pleased with the number of folks we had come out, attended the classes, and went to the summit. But we had some folks that weren't comfortable with it, that kind of thing. And so we have purchased the replay. And so we are going to be offering the replay live in our office. We can't give it to you. If you want to go get it, you can go spend $500 from Tom Ferry and buy it yourself. But we are going to be doing it in the office. We can get you set up on those.
If you like to attend, for those I know there's some of you that missed it because you have closing or something come up. So if you want to get the rest of the stuff on your workbook, please do come in and give each individual office a call to let them know you're coming in.
But just come in. We'll set you up in the training room. We'll set you up in one of the conferences rooms or something like that, to where you can get in and really kind of jump in. And if you missed a day, or if you just didn't feel comfortable with the group and that kind of stuff, please take advantage of this.
Don't wait, because the longer you wait, the longer it's going to take you to start your business.
Then tomorrow we have a sales meeting.
Woohoo!
I know. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. we're going to be doing a sales meeting. It's live in all of our offices, kind of thing. We're going to be going over state of the market, our new Sky Slope and KV Core rollouts. We're going to be talking over best of the Tom Ferry moments. All of our branch managers will be doing their updates, and we'll be giving our monthly agent awards as well, kind of thing.
To the rock stars.
To the rock stars. That's it, exactly. So only thing we're going to wrap up here with is on as far as training and events this week. So we have a sales meeting tomorrow. On Wednesday, we have the pop by workshop in the Noonan office. On Thursday in Fayetteville, as well as on virtual, we're doing 1031 real estate exchanges. And this is a really popular class. We know, this class normally does really, really well. So this is going to be live in the Fayetteville office, as well as going to be virtual. You can find that at mx1training.com. And so if that's pretty much it for us for this week. We hope you guys have a phenomenal week. If you need us, you can check us out at max1.rocks/chat, and we're always available to answer any questions. So call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. You guys have a great week.
Thank you. Have a great Monday.
All right. Bye.